What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Getting ready to start my show, Jimmy Rants, over on Instagram. It is Monday, you guys. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I just chilled out. What I've been doing lately on the weekends, I still work on the weekends and do a little bit of stuff, but for the most part on the weekends, what's up, Norma? I try to chill out a little bit on the weekends, and so I just find that helps me keep my sanity by chilling out on the weekends. What's up, Jessica and Amy and Tana? Thank you all for being here today. We're getting ready to start my show, Jimmy Rants, over on Instagram. And as I always do, I come here first on Facebook, as well as my YouTubers. I see you guys coming in, so hello, welcome. Make yourselves at home. We're about to start my show, Jimmy Rants, over on Instagram. Need to get that started here soon. What's up, Mitzi? So I got a really cool topic, you guys. Very disturbing topic. And we've seen this trend for many years, but when you hear about this one, you'll be like, oh my gosh, what in the world? What's up, Mike? Thanks for being here today. As always, you guys, go ahead and share it with your audience and let them know what we're doing here at Jimmy Rants. And we would appreciate that. So you can share on your page. You can also share pretty much on any page that you are a part of a group. And if you're a part of a group that talks about real food and health and nutrition, you're gonna wanna share this one here today. There is my Aunt Mary Jane. What's going on, Jane? Thanks for being here on my show, Jimmy Rants. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Kara. Thank you all for being here. Got a great audience here, and thank you to all my people coming in over here on YouTube. Nobody's talking to me on YouTube. There they go. Euphoric Break says hi. I could see you guys there. I just didn't see any of you saying hello yet. So, all right, let me get started over on Instagram. And if you guys are ready, here we go. Why are all these billionaires investing in fake human breast milk? Find out today here on Jimmy Rants. Click on that little box in the corner down there that will take you straight to IGTV, and you can watch today's episode. JimmyRants.com is the website, and as always, you can engage live in the content, but you got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live just like all these amazing people coming in right here today. Thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. We also simulcast over here on my Facebook page. I see a few more people have come in. Adam and Laurie and Barb, thank you all for being here today. Amy Hale just popped in. What's up, Amy? Hadn't talked to you in a while. All of you guys here on Facebook for joining me, thank you for that. And then finally over here on my YouTube channel, we have all you guys coming as well. So we have a big old family of Jimmy Rants people here today, so I appreciate all of you for watching. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay on IGTV right here on Instagram. We also throw the past episodes up over on YouTube, so just type in a keyword Jimmy Rants. You will find the show, also youtube.com/LivinLowCarbMan. On Tuesdays on the Livin' La Vida Low Carb Show, we air a Best of Jimmy Rants podcast where we air audio from various Jimmy Rants that I've done recently, usually thematically. The one tomorrow that's going to air talks about where two Australian people were in the news. Gary Fettke, a medical doctor who got basically vindicated after being accused of harming his patients by promoting a low-carb diet. And then Pete Evans, the one I did recently, sharing about all the things that he's been having to deal with over there. So that's what's airing on tomorrow's show. That's at llvlc.com if you want to listen to that one. And then finally, the official website for this show, jimmyrants.com, and you can see all the past episodes there. We also have a way for you to support us. A lot of people have been saying, hey, I love what you do on Jimmy Rants. Is there any way I can support you? And yes, there is. Click on that Patreon link, and really any donation of any amount would definitely help us stay on the air, because I do not want to do sponsors on this show. And if you can support me, then I'll keep supporting you by making content here on Jimmy Rants. Okay, today, you guys, I have an interesting story to tell you about because we have seen over the past, well, as long as I've been in this business, 15 years, I have seen attempts to try to make fake versions of real food. So I remember way back in the day, they were talking about taking potatoes, for example, when kind of low carb Atkins was the trend back then, and to modify them genetically so that the carbohydrate content would be less. And so they start manipulating with it and making it lower in carbs. And so then they promote it. Oh, it's 40% less carbohydrates for this GMO potato. And so they think that's better than real food. Then they started talking about growing meat in a lab because, well, we know all these carbon emissions that all these cow farts are producing. We need to create a more climate friendly, environmentalist friendly type of meat. So let's grow meat in a lab and then let that become the meat that people consume. And of course it was highly controversial at the time. And well, it's meat, but it's not meat, but is it meat? And yeah, so we've had those kinds of things going on. And then in recent years, we've seen the rise in plant-based burgers. So obviously I've done a lot of Jimmy Rants talking about the plant-based burgers and how they're just a chemical crap storm that are put together and promoted to the public as generally a healthy, good idea, all under the auspice of it's not meat. And so therefore it's healthy. So you think plant-based burgers is the line that they stop at and don't step over any further? You would be dead wrong, because I have a story here today out of the Science Times. This is a legit news site, you guys. Hold on to your hats. Headline: Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and other billionaires invest in an environmentally friendly artificial breast milk cultured from a human mammary gland. When you think they can't go any more absurd, they get way absurd. I wish this was a joke. I wish I didn't have to be bringing you this Jimmy Rants here today, but this, guys, is real. And wait until you find out why they have created this. A new and better breast milk alternative has now arrived, and it claims to be helpful for the environment as well. The U.S. firm is called BioMilk, B-I-O-M-I-L-Q. It is artificially producing human breast milk from cultured human mammary epithelial cells to be commercially available to consumers. Can you imagine being the donor of these epithelial cells? Here, let me scrape off a few cells for you to... Like, am I the only one that thinks this is so incredibly bizarro, Twilight Zone-ish, that we would even think that this is a good idea in any way, for any reason? Somehow, BioMilk has convinced billionaires to pour money. Wait till you hear some of the other names here. The startup company has now received $3.5 million from an investment fund. You want to know who the investors are in this investment fund? Bill Gates. We all know who that is. Jeff Bezos, the guy that owns Amazon. Richard Branson, another famous billionaire, has started a lot of companies, and Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. Now, what do those billionaires know that we don't? Of course, we know a lot of the billionaires have also invested in the plant-based burger movement. And they have, I guess, read the tea leaves in their financial plans and said, well, people are beginning to buy into the lies. I mean, the information about climate change, that we need to get in on the bandwagon. That's the only thing I can think of as to why they would be pouring in millions of dollars. Now, these are billionaires, and we're talking about 3.5 million. So it's really a drop in the bucket, but still, money is power. And if this company, BioMilk, is able to have their way, they're going to put fake artificial breast milk on the market made from human mammary glands, all under the guise of it's a lot healthier option than women who get pregnant and then try to breastfeed once their baby's born. Who thinks this is a good idea? In what universe is a fake form of a real food? Let's not forget, breast milk is real food. And they're going to sell this to people as a healthier option. The fund, which helped pay for this startup, was established as a way to help prevent the ill effects of climate change that's brought on by carbon emissions. Do people really buy into this climate change thing being man-made from carbon emissions? I mean, I get it. There's obviously things that are going on environmentally that are not helping matters. But seriously, I mean, is this the answer? And what the heck does this have to do with breast milk? How in the world is breast milk impacting carbon emissions? Last time I checked, pregnant women, well, maybe they are, but pregnant women aren't letting off methane gas. If supposedly it's the methane coming from cows farting everywhere that's causing all these greenhouse gases that's messing with climate change, are they saying pregnant women that are feeding their babies breast milk are farting? I don't know. It seems absurd as to why they're going this route. And if you joined us late, yes, you are reading that right. Billionaires have lined up and they're investing in this fake breast milk company called BioMilk, BIOMILQ, and they've given them $3.5 million. People like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Mark Zuckerberg all have given this money to this company to make from human mammary glands breast milk, all under the guise of we've got to help climate change. So, they are pitching this, you guys, as a greener infant milk alternative. BioMilk aims to provide a greener alternative for formula milk as an estimated 10% of the global dairy industry, which is a significant source of greenhouse gases, is used in manufacturing baby formula. Okay. So they're targeting formula, it looks like. And because formula is made from dairy, and because there's dairy in this product, and dairy apparently comes from the cows that are farting that's causing all this climate change. You really have to stretch your imagination to go this far in believing this nonsense, but that's what they want us to do. The firm claims to have developed a milk form that is easier for babies to digest than formula. Human breast milk is easier to digest, and I've got an article after I'm done with this one that talks about some of the benefits of breast milk. But that's irrelevant to this. An artificially homegrown, lab-grown form of breast milk is never going to replace a mama's breast milk because there's more than just the milk that the baby gets, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Most importantly, it emits a smaller carbon footprint, which helps the environment. Okay. Carbon footprint, yeah. We're going to leave that for another day. It is unclear when BioMilk's artificial breast milk might become commercially available, but representatives from the firm says it is likely dependent on the approval of regulatory bodies such as the FDA. So guys, do we want the Food and Drug Administration giving the A-OK? And what they do is they give this thing called generally recognized as safe, GRAS status. Once the FDA gives something GRAS status, people think that's a free-for-all, that there's no consequences to it whatsoever. GRAS does not mean it's okay. I promise you on that one. They have given GRAS status to many things that then later they go, oopsies, we didn't know that was going to happen. So they're calling this a healthier milk choice for infants. The approach used in manufacturing artificial breast milk is by replicating the key proteins found in human breast milk, harvesting cells from human mammary cells. The artificial breast milk presents proteins that are found in regular breast milk that would contain more health benefits compared to cow's milk or soy-based formula. Again, I say, we need to be very, very careful walking this line. Because when you start growing real food, healthier options in a lab, rather than letting them naturally happen, we don't know the ramifications of that. And what I want to know is babies have been born and breastfed for long periods of time throughout human history. What makes us think in 2020 that suddenly we have found the answer to a problem nobody knew existed before now? And it's very convenient that they use the environment and climate change now as the excuse as to why we need to do this. And we need to be very careful about how they weave in some of these kind of political and cultural types of issues like climate change, and then use that as justification for why they create products like this. And the problem here is there's a lot of people that will be duped into believing this because they've been duped into believing various narratives about other things. And I don't want to talk about climate change per se, but that is a narrative that has been promoted so heavily. It's kind of like saturated fat is bad. You promote something so heavily as so much the truth that after a while people default to, oh, it must be true. And again, whatever you believe about climate change, you should not be using that as the reason why you believe that we need to have human breast milk created in a lab to somehow be a better option than what's out there now. BioMilk presented a proof of concept for their artificial breast milk in February. The company claims that they can produce both casein and lactose, which are important proteins in real human breast milk. I want to know, who was the one that tasted it? Does it taste like breast milk? Is it good? You know, did they feed it to babies? Did they respond well? I mean, how do you test it to know if it's legit or not? How do you know if there's any ramifications? Are you testing anything other than, wow, it tastes like breast milk? Okay. That's pretty much what they did with the plant-based burgers, by the way, you guys. Well, it tastes like a burger, so it's just like a burger. Yeah, what about all the 27 chemical crap storm ingredients you put in there to make that burger-like product? Oh, shh, you're not supposed to know that. Shh, shh. And that's what I want to know here. Okay, they grow this in the lab. What enhancements are they going to add to it to make it, quote, better? A lot of questions with this. According to Michelle Egger, the co-founder and chief executive officer of BioMilk, while there is no true replacement for breast milk, yeah, no kidding. Why are we even having this conversation if there's no true replacement for breast milk? Why don't you let breast milk be breast milk and leave breast milk alone? The firm believes that they can tackle the power of nature, science, and technology to deliver comprehensive and sustainable nutritional provisions for infants. You know what that statement tells me? We are mightier than God. That's all that tells me. Well, God didn't make good enough breast milk, so we're going to have to form a new and improved version in a lab and peddle it to these lemmings out there who are going to be suckered into believing the stuff we say about climate change just so they'll buy our product and make all these billionaires happy. You got to know the truth about this kind of stuff. Furthermore, the company claims to be a pioneer in producing integral components of milk within the same system using an approach that is sterile from beginning to end. Sterile? We don't want sterility in our dairy. If you haven't noticed, some of the most nutrient-dense parts of dairy foods is when you can buy them in their raw form. And in their raw form, there are some beautiful living organisms in there that feed the gut microbiome that give you so many health benefits. So for them to say, well, everything's sterile from beginning to end, yeah, pasteurization of milk is what ruined milk. And now they want to do it with their pioneering process that they've done for this breast milk. This novelty allows them to create the full sequence of intricate components in a perfect proportion. Yeah, you ruin it. That's what you're doing. By the way, if you want to know all the benefits of milk and all the microorganisms that are found intricately within things like raw milk, go look up realmilk.com, I believe is the website. The Weston A. Price Foundation has had this campaign for many years because raw milk has been under attack because of all the microorganisms in it. Go look up realmilk.com or realmilk.org. I forget what the website is, but you can see all the benefits that come from actual real milk. We don't need it grown in a lab. We don't need sterility from beginning to end and the formulation of a new and improved milk product. And we sure the heck don't need that same process being applied to breast milk. If you joined us late, yes, you came in on quite a hot discussion here today because there's a whole bunch of millionaires, including very famous ones like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Richard Branson, and Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, who have invested in this company called BioMilk, BIOMILQ, and they are making a fake breast milk, all under the auspice of we have to do this to help the environment. And we need to be very careful walking this line of dismissing real whole foods, which breast milk is, and thinking that we can do better than God when it comes to creating things that will be good for human health. And that's all this is. This will give more options for parents and caregivers of infants. BioMilk co-founder and cell biologist Layla Strickland said that with their artificial breast milk, parents, caregivers, and infants would be presented with more options for this early stage of their nutritional life. She adds that they are determined to create a better earth for future generations. Give me a freaking break. How in the world have we gotten to this point in human history if somehow, some way, breastfeeding your baby was a bad thing? Can somebody answer that question? How in the world did we survive all of these years without BioMilk out there coming in to save the day and giving us a better earth? Yes, I'm a little snarky today on this one because I think any company that's trying to circumvent real food with a fake food that they're claiming is better than that real food, get the heck out of town. Seriously. In an interview with Business Insider, Layla Strickland told reporters that her inspiration behind the concept of creating this has been her own struggles with breastfeeding her son. She realistically addresses how exclusive breastfeeding may not be for everyone and even impossible for some who are eager to go that route. And I realize some women have issues with not producing enough breast milk, and there's other issues involved in this discussion, so I get it. And you want to have options available, but is this the answer? Is what they're doing here the answer to the question? And of course, I'm going to get into an article here in a minute that will talk about all the good things that come from breastfeeding, not just for the baby, but also for the mom and their bond together, as you'll see. She adds how some women struggle with low milk production, the stigma on breastfeeding in public. Well, they need to get over the stigma of breastfeeding in public. If I see a mom breastfeeding her baby in public, as long as she's got like a little cloth over, I'm just like, you go, girl. You get it. You know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it. I have no problem with a woman that wants to breastfeed in public. Now, obviously, you go off to the side and you be discreet about it. You're not out in the open. But even if somebody's very brash and out in the open, let them feed them. I mean, I have never seen that as weird. That's just called being a good mom. We should encourage more of that. Incompatible workplaces or families using formula out of necessity, the options left for providing nourishment for babies are suboptimal. So guys, that's what they're talking about with this fake artificial breast milk cultured from human mammary cells. It's crazy that this is a thing that they think is a good idea, and yet it gained traction because you can fool people into a narrative that gets them to buy into what you're selling. And this has been my concern with all the plant-based burgers and all these other kind of pushes to get us away from real whole foods like meat and animal foods like dairy and onto these plant-based options. That's been my biggest concern through it all, is what is the end game? Okay, you tell people meat and dairy is contributing to climate change. Okay, so if that's the thing that you're telling people, and then you're using that thing to then sell your plant-based burgers and sell this fake breast milk, what if we find out the climate change thing wasn't true after all? And then you are found out to have used that as the way to market your product and get it into the hands of people under false pretenses. Oh, if that ever came out, they would be in so much trouble. But by then, they've made their billions of dollars and they've moved on to the next thing. And this is what happens all the time. All the time. All right, so I've got an article here from Parents Magazine that talks about the benefits of breastfeeding, lest we think it's just something that's not that big of a deal. Let's take a look at that. Breast milk is considered nature's perfect baby food. It contains immunity boosting antibodies. So all these people trying to boost their immune system, breast milk has exactly what you need in there to help with that. Along with healthy enzymes, scientists have yet to replicate in a lab. So they can replicate all the things they want in this bio milk. They aren't going to replicate these healthy enzymes. So here's some of the advantages of breast milk for babies. It protects against allergies and eczema. If there's a history of either one of these in your family, it may be especially beneficial for you to breastfeed your child. Proteins in cow's milk and soy milk can stimulate an allergic reaction, while the proteins in human breast milk are much more easily digested. Breast milk also from a mom also causes less stomach upset, diarrhea, and constipation than formula. This is also because breast milk is easy on your baby's body to break down. It also reduces the risk of viruses, urinary tract infections, inflammatory bowel disease, gastroenteritis, ear infections, and respiratory infections. So the instances of pneumonia, colds, and viruses are reduced when you breastfeed your baby. Formula-fed infants are 3 times more likely to suffer from ear infections than breastfed ones, and up to 5 times more likely to suffer from pneumonia and lower respiratory tract infections. You also lessen the risk of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, I think is what SIDS stands for. Although the connection is unclear, breastfed infants account for only half of the cases that formula ones do. It makes vaccines more effective, which, you know, whatever your view is on a vaccine, it does show that breastfed babies have a better antibody response to the vaccines than those who are fed formula. Protects against diseases like spinal meningitis, type 1 diabetes, and Hodgkin's lymphoma. All of those are autoimmune disease. You pass your baby immune factors and white blood cells through your breast milk. You even make your baby smarter when you feed them human breast milk. Research is still inconclusive, but studies are pointing towards breastfed babies having higher IQ later in life, even when you take in all the socioeconomic factors. And they say it's the fatty acids that are thought to be the brain boosters. It also helps prevent obesity. Some studies show that breastfed infants are likely to be less likely, to be obese later in life. The theory is nursing mothers get in tune with signals that their baby is full, and then they don't overfeed them. And so you're reading your baby's satiety cues a little better, because unlike a bottle, you can't see how much he's eaten. You have to rely on your own instinct and your baby's behavior to know when your baby is full. And then you bring your baby closer to you. This is what this bio milk, this fake breast milk, is never, ever going to do. Bottle-fed babies form bonds with their parents too, of course, but the skin-to-skin contact of breastfeeding is so reassuring to a newborn. And this is something that these companies, these billionaires that are investing in these companies, they are basically trying to say, women, you breastfeed your baby, that's irrelevant. It's the old way we do things. Here's a new and improved way. You got to do it for the environment so we don't increase climate change. And then we lose connection. And I already feel like we're losing connection in this society as it is. Think about all the distractions with devices in kids' hands. And who's to say in the coming years we're not going to see devices end up on their arm? And they're sitting there looking at their arm, or some hologram in front of them wearing some glasses. So we need that connection early in life. But what about the benefits for moms? So they're wanting to create this fake breast milk in a lab, but is the mom getting anything out of that relationship of giving the breast milk? Of course she is. It lowers your risk, mom, of breast and ovarian cancer. Studies show women who breastfeed have less risk of these cancers later in life. It helps you lose your pregnancy weight because milk production burns about 300 to 500 calories a day. You tend to have an easier time to lose weight. Breast milk contains 20 calories per ounce. If you feed your baby 20 ounces, that's 400 calories that are out of your body. It triggers your uterus to shrink back to pre-pregnancy size. It may lower your risk of osteoporosis because when a woman is pregnant and lactating, her body absorbs calcium much more efficiently. So while some bones, particularly those in the spine and hips, might be a little less dense, at weaning 6 months later, they are more dense than before your pregnancy. It also helps heal the body post-pregnancy. The oxytocin released when your baby nurses helps your uterus contract, reducing post-delivery blood loss. Plus, breastfeeding will help your uterus return to its normal size about 6 weeks postpartum compared with 10 weeks if you don't breastfeed. It also helps to delay menstruation because it causes the release of prolactin, which keeps your estrogen and progesterone at bay, so ovulation is not triggered. When your prolactin levels drop, those two hormones kick back in, which means ovulation, and then menstruation occurs. It can give you some natural birth control protection. Gives you closeness with your baby, which we talked about previously. And it saves you money because formula can get expensive. I don't know what this new fake breast milk is going to cost, but you have to imagine, well, we're improving what you have before, so you're going to have to pay a premium for that improvement. Therefore, it's going to cost you more money. So that's the other issue here. Less time off work, cultivate relationships, and makes you more eco-friendly. So guys, what do you think about this? Billionaires are lining up at the door. And again, this is not the first meat alternative, animal-based food alternative, real food alternative that has been backed by billionaires. Basically, if it wasn't for billionaires paying for all these companies making the fake plant-based burgers out there, they would have already gone under. Do you think there will be a market for this? Do you think parents of newborn babies are going to buy into this notion that climate change requires you to use their fake breast milk? Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Mark Zuckerberg are banking on it. And again, they're billionaires and they've collectively given $3.5 million. So really just like a drop in the bucket in their grand worth. But if it starts to take off, they'll pour money, more money into it to keep it going. It's going to be interesting to watch this one. I don't think that people are going to buy into it, but there will be a segment that will. So let's see what happens. But I want to see what you guys have to say about this one. So welcome in, welcome in. We're going to go ahead and go to Instagram first, then Facebook, finally to YouTube. I definitely want to hear what you all have to say about this one here. JimmyRants.com is the website. And Kat says, all existing formulas are pure crap. Failed attempt to mimic nature. Are they trying to fail again? I'm sure they'll market it the way people will buy into it. Yes, Kat, my fear is, well, this is the first one made from real breast milk. I bet they're going to put somewhere on the packaging, made from real breast milk, because they want people to think this is natural. And of course, we've seen that them do that with all kind of food labeling over the years to fool consumers. I think the organic movement was that way. Oh, it's organic. Yeah, so is crap, but we don't eat it. So that's kind of my concern too, the way they're going to market this. Bridget says babies need to bond with mom first and foremost. Absolutely. And that's the thing that I think is missing from all this. You can give them all the bio milk in the world, but that bond between mom and child cannot happen or happen as well as you do when you breastfeed. 2 words, wet nurse, says Stephanie. That's 2 words I'm not understanding, so elaborate on what you mean by that. Mrs. Marvey says, this is nothing new. When I was born 60 years ago, breastfeeding was discouraged. Oh, it's still breastfeeding is still discouraged. And they try to shame moms who do it. Which I've never understood. This is like as normal as breathing to me is a woman who just had a baby breastfeeding their baby. I don't know why that's so weird to people. Ooh, we're gonna see a breast. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's incumbent upon the mom, I guess, to cover up so other people don't feel whatever. I don't know. I'm like, if you want to whip it out and feed your baby in public, then that's your prerogative. You're a newborn mom. Do what you got to do. Stephanie says women shouldn't feel pressure to cover that child for feeding or going into some room. No one would accept me saying, hey, can you put a blanket over your head while you eat? Well, I agree with you. I'm just saying, I suppose there's some middle ground there between those who just whip it out way wide open for everybody to see, and then those who feel like they have to go to the bathroom, which I think is gross that a woman has to go into a bathroom to breastfeed their baby so they don't offend somebody. There's a good way to do it, and unfortunately, it discourages a lot of women from doing what's a very normal and healthy thing for their baby. Kat says, while us adults on our way to figure out the best way to nourish ourselves, carnivore, keto, paleo, vegan, babies have that perfect optimal nutrition in the breast milk. We should be jealous. Yeah, I've thought about that a lot of the nutrients and things that are in breast milk, God did not mess up when he made breast milk, because pretty much everything a baby needs to not just survive, but to thrive and to grow and to be healthy are all inside that breast milk. All right, thank you, Instagram. I'm gonna hop over here to my Facebook page. What's up, you guys? See what you guys have to say about this controversial subject here today. Hello. Peter says, WTF. I know, right, man? It's crazy that this would get passed off as something normal and natural and nothing wrong with it, but I see everything wrong with it. Nancy says, I don't see this as a replacement for breastfeeding, but it might be a better formula option for babies that can't be breastfed for a variety of reasons. Also, as a formula option, it might be a better choice for children in impoverished areas, especially overseas, where the women are too undernourished to nurse. I would think it's better than the soy milk that we have in those countries. Well, better than soy milk, probably. I think that the thing, and thank you for your comment, Nancy, I think the thing that's got me disturbed the most is this is being promoted under the auspice of, okay, those dairy options are causing climate change to be worse. And I think if that's how you're selling this, then that's the exact wrong way to sell it. If they want to say, hey, woman who can't breastfeed for whatever reason, here is an option that gives you another way to do that, then I would be okay with that mode of marketing this bio milk. But unfortunately, they're taking a whole nother route that I don't think they need to be taking, that I think is a false pretense. So I don't disagree that it's a better option than soy, because soy has many problems. You know, and like Kat said over here, there's a lot of chemical crap storm stuff that they put, just pure junk that they put in baby formula. Maybe this is the wake-up call that the formula industry needs to get in on and go, okay, wow, we have really royally screwed this up. We should be promoting that women breastfeed if they can, and if they can't, we need to create the most nutrient-dense form of formula that we can possibly do, not as a replacement for breast milk, but to say, if you can't breastfeed, here's an option. Now, is this bio milk that answer? I don't know. I don't know what they're putting in it beyond the human breast mammary glands. That's all I know about it. We don't know what else they're putting in there. So that would be the major concern. All right, thank you, Facebook. Let me pop over now over to my YouTube channel. What's up, YouTube? See what you have to say. You guys always have some interesting comments for me. No money in natural whole food, says Euphoric Break. That is true. Knowing Bill Gates and his depopulation plans, this bio milk will probably sterilize the babies that it's fed to. Oh, I could go in so many directions on that one, but I'm going to leave that to other people to discuss. The FDA signed off on lab-grown meat before it was ever created. Yes, they did. They gave generally recognized as safe status to it. You're right. Anna says, I'm just passing through this bizarre earth. I'm sickened over the manipulation of real food, now infant breast milk, that the food industry does, and billionaires throw their funds at it, laughing all the way. Well, they throw their funds at it because they know people will buy into it. And that's the saddest part of this whole discussion, is people believe this as true. And so wake up, people. Shirley says, I was blessed to be able to breastfeed all 3 of my kids, and the bond created through being able to do that is so precious. I need to ask my mom if she breastfed us. I have a good bond with my mom today, but I don't know if it's because I was breastfed or not. But it just makes you wonder, like, how many people are going to get duped into this, thinking it's a better option. I don't care what you have to say and all the marketing that you do. Ain't nothing going to replace real breast milk from a mom. And if a mom is able to give birth to a beautiful baby, then I think the best option for that baby is to breastfeed. And if you can't breastfeed, then they definitely need to make better options available. And I recognize that there are some obstacles for some women to be able to breastfeed. Beth says, women and girls wear more revealing clothes than even a mother who chooses not to cover up. Oh, Beth, you are getting in on another topic altogether that Jimmy Moore does not want to touch with a 10-foot pole, but you're right. She also said, not for nothing, especially here in America, breasts have been sexualized. Also, men are normally the pervs, and then you have women who are jealous when they even think their guy is looking. I have literally never seen that as sexual whatsoever. When a woman is breastfeeding her baby, like, to me, that's just a part of the human experience, just as natural as breathing, just as natural as walking. A mom of a newborn breastfeeding their baby, that's just normal. And you're right, though. A lot of society says, oh my God, I can't see a breast. That's ridiculous. And it's crazy that we've gotten to that point in our culture that women can't be who they're supposed to be in that way. But I will never shame a woman for having the intelligence to feed their baby breast milk. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, think about how many future humans will come out better from this because they were breastfed. And to me, if we're going to be about health, we need to be about health from the very beginning of life. And the way the mom eats during the pregnancy, and then once that baby's born, breastfed. Can you imagine, and all those benefits I listed off a moment ago, can you imagine not having to deal with obesity, not having to deal with some of these autoimmune things that pop up, not having to deal with like quality of life things like allergies? Can you imagine the intelligence, the increased intelligence that they're seeing? I mean, there's so many things that make this a good thing that we probably need to be encouraging more women to try to breastfeed if they can. And I get it. Some women have talked about it being painful and more difficult than it looks. But if women are willing to do it and they're convinced of the benefits of it, then I think we should be promoting that much more so than some fake breast milk promoted by a bunch of billionaires trying to make money. I'm not anti-capital. I'm not anti-billionaires trying to grow their wealth. But if their way to do it is to invest in companies that take human mammary glands and grow them in a lab to make a fake version of breast milk and promoting that to women as a better thing than breastfeeding your child, not in 100,000 million billion years will that ever be the right thing. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, you can engage live in the content. You got to go follow me right here on Instagram. I'm at LivinLowCarbMan, LivinLowCarbman. We go live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, so be there, be square. We're always right here on Jimmy Rants. We also simulcast over here on my Facebook page, so thank you guys for watching, as well as on my YouTube stream. I appreciate all of you here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay over at IGTV right here on Instagram. We also throw it up over on YouTube. Just type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants, you will find the show. And then finally, JimmyRants.com is the official website for this show. You can see all the past episodes there. And if you like what you see here and you get value out of this show, throw some value back at me. Click on that Patreon page and you can donate to help keep us on the air. I will never do sponsors on this show, so the only way I can keep this show going is through you donating and showing your love to me if you like what we do here. So, all right, guys, that's it for now. I'll be back again real soon with more Jimmy Rants. Bye. All righty. That's how you do it. In the can. What's up, Joe Salama? I just saw you pop on. And Hank, what's going on, guys? So, fascinating story. When I saw that one, I said, I know what I'm doing on Mondays, Jimmy Rants. I got some really interesting Jimmy Rants coming up there. I've got another story. You know how with COVID-19, they've been saying, well, most of the people who get COVID-19 are obese. And so obesity is one of the major contributing factors to people getting worse symptoms from COVID-19. And this one guy who's very science-minded blogger, he said, now wait a minute. That sounds all well and good, and I'm seeing it repeated all over, but here's what I'm seeing, and it has nothing to do with the obesity. So it's a very long blog post, so I'm not sure how much of it I can get into. I definitely don't want to read the whole thing, and plus he's kind of vulgar in places, so I want to clean it up. So I'll probably have to go through and mark it where I actually want to read from, but it was very insightful that kind of destroys this narrative that COVID-19 is hurting obese people. So we'll get into that, but thank you guys for being here today. I have decided I think I'm going to just stick with 11 a.m. Eastern time unless I'm just feeling really good and want to do another one during the week. I think 11 a.m. Monday through Friday is kind of my jam. This is when we do Jimmy Rants. I've felt myself falling back into that workaholic mode again. When I was doing extra ones and ones on the weekend. I'm not saying I won't do those ever, but I'm saying that I think I'm going to make the core of this show 11 a.m. Eastern, and if I happen to do an extra one, then it'll just be bonus, but that means there'll be 5 shows a week, so 4 during the week, and then Friday the Ask Me Anything. So I think that's going to help me. I've been struggling a little bit lately with some of the stress of everything that's going on, just trying to manage some of that a little bit better. So on the weekends, I slow way, way, way down, trying to get a handle on some of that. So I know you guys will respect that and appreciate where I'm coming from on that. So, all right, let me pop off of here for now and get out there and enjoy some of that sunshine here today. And have a good day. Thanks for being here. Bye, YouTube.